Instead of a corroded piece of junk, I held an actual weapon. The leather wrapped grip felt warm and comfortable in my hand. The pommel, a simple polished steel oval, helped counterweight the 30-inch blade, which was double edged and rounded at the tip, more for hacking than for stabbing. Down the center of the blade, a wide groove was emblazoned with Viking runes, the same kind I'd seen in Randolph's office. They shimmered in a lighter shade of silver, as if they'd been inlaid while the blade was forged. The sword was definitely humming now, almost like a human voice trying to find the right pitch. Surt stepped back. His lava-red eyes flickered nervously.
You don't know what you have there, boy. You won't live long enough to find out.
He swung his scimitar. I'd had no experience with swords, unless you count watching The Princess Bride 26 times as a kid. Surt would have cut me in half, but my weapon had other ideas. Ever held a spinning top on the tip of your finger? You can feel it moving under its own power, tilting in all directions. The sword was like that. It swung itself, blocking Surt's fiery blade. Then it spun in an arc, dragging my arm along with it, and hacked into Surt's right leg. The Black One screamed. The wound in his thigh smoldered, setting his pants on fire. His blood sizzled and glowed like the flow from a volcano. His fiery blade dissipated. Before he could recover, my sword leapt upward and slashed his face. With a howl, Surt stumbled back, cupping his hands over his nose. To my left, someone screamed, the mother with the two kids. Hirth was trying to help her extract her toddlers from the stroller, which was now smoking and about to combust. "Hirth!" I yelled, before remembering that was no good. With Surt still distracted, I limped over to Hirth and pointed down the bridge. "Go! Get the kids out of here!" He could read my lips just fine, but he did not like my message. He shook his head adamantly, hoisting one of the toddlers into his arms. The mom was cradling the other kid. "Leave now," I told her. "My friend will help you." The mom didn't hesitate. Hirth gave me one last look. This is not a good idea. Then he followed her, the little kid bouncing up and down in his arms, crying, "Ah, ah, ah!" Other innocent people were still stuck on the bridge. Drivers trapped in their cars, pedestrians wandering around in a daze, their clothes steaming and their skin lobster red. Emergency sirens were closer now, but I didn't see how the police or paramedics could help if Surt was still storming around, being all fiery and stuff.
Boy!
The Black One sounded like he was gargling with syrup. He took his hands from his face, and I saw why. My self-guided sword had taken off his nose. Molten blood steamed down his cheeks, splattering on the pavement in sizzling droplets. His pants had burned off, leaving him in a pair of flame-patterned red boxers. Between that and the newly sawed-off snout, he looked like a diabolical version of Porky Pig.
"I've tolerated you long enough,"
he gargled. "I was just thinking the same thing about you." I raised the sword. "You want this? Come and get it!" In retrospect, that was a pretty stupid thing to say. Above me, I caught a glimpse of the weird gray apparition, a girl on a horse, circling like a vulture, watching. Instead of charging, Surt bent down and scooped asphalt from the road with his bare hands. He molded it into a red-hot spear of gleaming gunk and pitched it towards me like a fastball. Another game I'm not good at. Baseball. I swung the sword, hoping to knock away the projectile. I missed. The asphalt cannonball plowed into my gut and embedded itself, searing, burning, destroying. I couldn't breathe. The pain was so intense, I felt every cell in my body explode in a chain reaction. Despite that, a strange sort of calm fell over me. I was dying. I wasn't coming back from this, part of me thought. All right, make it count. My vision dimmed. The sword hummed and tugged at my hand. I could barely feel my arms. Surt studied me, a smile on his ruined face. He wants the sword, I told myself. He can't have it. If I'm going out, he's going with me. Weakly, I raised my free hand. I flipped him a gesture that he wouldn't need to know sign language to understand. He roared and charged. Just as he reached me, my sword leapt up and ran him through. I used the last of my strength to grapple him as his momentum carried us both over the railing.
No!
He fought to free himself, bursting into flames, kicking and gouging. But I held on to him as we plummeted towards the Charles River, my sword still embedded in his stomach, my own organs burning away from the molten tar in my gut. The sky flashed in and out of view. I caught a glimpse of the smoky apparition, the girl on the horse, diving towards me at a full gallop, her hand outstretched. I hit the water. Then I died. The end. End of chapter 7.